Hello everyone, my name is John Battle and this is my Aviation 327 flight scenario. Alright, so what is the scenario? Well, we're a newly minted commercial pilot. The owner of our company is asking us to fly her husband, her daughter, and about 125 pounds in luggage to a golf tournament that's over 250 nautical miles away. The plane that we're going to be flying in is the Piper Archer, which is the plane that I currently fly in. Some things to consider based on the scenario. Our last flight with passengers was 95 days ago, so I'm going to be looking at whether or not we're current according to the FAR AIM 6157. We also have a lot of additional weight on this plane, so I got to make sure we're within our acceptable weight and balance limitations. The majority of this flight is going to be at night. Weather is going to start deteriorating as we go along, so that's another thing we need to really consider. Our plane doesn't have any anti or de-icing equipment, and I have 275 total hours, and only 10 of that being an IMC. So the trip, here you can see on our map, we're going to be departing Pontiac via the MIGI 2 Hubby departure, and then flying up to Marquette using the RNAV runway 01. So I'm going to be filing a flight plan, and I'm hoping to get 8,000 feet. I'll talk a little bit more about why later in the presentation. Our alternate, which is Iron Mountain, is about 44 miles to the southwest. It's via FAR there, if we do need to go there as an alternate. I'm planning on using 48 gallons, I'm planning on a full fuel load, so 48 gallons of usable fuel. And based on my performance calculations, I'm estimating a burn of 39.5 gallons of fuel. That includes to our destination, our alternate, and 45-minute reserve. That's based on the IFR requirements, 91,167. Total trip time is going to be about 3 hours and 50 minutes. All right, so as I mentioned, we're flying a pretty heavy airplane. The weight and balance calculation here that I have puts us just inside the acceptable weight and balance envelope with only about 25 pounds to spare. We do fall under the normal category, but we are safe to fly. For me, I've never flown with that much weight, so it might be out of my own personal minimums, since I don't know how the flying characteristics are going to change. I've never had to deal with that before. All right, so the pilot, as I mentioned, I only have 10 hours in IMC. The weather on this route is going to be spotty, probably in and out of the clouds. So I might not feel comfortable flying half my flight in the clouds, being I have very limited experience. I do need to get current. Based on FAR 6157, I need to do 3 takeoffs and landings 1 hour after sunset to a full stop in order to fly the next day with passengers. So I'll have to do that the night before. I also need to go through my I'm Safe checklist. So illness, medication, stress, alcohol and drugs, fatigue, and emotions. All right, so the aircraft, as I mentioned, is the Piper Archer. We do have autopilot, which is great. Garmin 430, so we have an updated, the database is current. I also checked because we have 125 pounds in luggage. The max luggage that we can carry in the luggage compartment is 200 pounds, so we're good there. And then at cruising altitude, 55% power, I can expect to burn about 6.3 to 7.8 gallons per hour. And also based on my performance calculations, we should have no issues with our landing and takeoff distances at any of our airports. All right, so the environment. It's VFR in Pontiac, it's IFR in Marquette. Here's the METAR for Marquette. We have 2 statute miles of visibility, overcast at 800 feet, and temperature dew point spread of 7 and 6. That's something to be concerned about, especially coming in at a higher altitude. We could be picking up some icing. We also have an AirMet Zulu between 2,000 to 6,000 feet along part of our route. So being that we don't have any anti or de-icing equipment, it'd be hard for me to say yes to this flight. Or hard for me to fly into Marquette. So flying into Iron Mountain might be a better option. I already checked, the FBO does have car and van rental services. So if our passengers need to, they can rent a vehicle and drive the rest of the way up to Marquette to their golf tournament. I also brought in some of the airport frequencies. I have Pontiac, Marquette, and Iron Mountain. I also put in Traverse City. That's kind of the midway airport. So if I need to pick up the ATIS or if I need to talk to them at any point, or maybe I need to land there, that's an option. All right, external pressures. So one of the big things for me, there's a lot of pressure on me to make a good decision on this flight if I want to have a job in the future with this as a corporate pilot. So I'm hoping my boss sees that I'm making a good, safe flying decision. So I'm using my decision-making skills to either go or no go. So either way, hopefully she sees that I'm making the smart and safest decision possible. I know that this is an important golf tournament for them, but it's never, it's better to be safe than sorry, especially flying into crummy conditions. Another thing in this scenario is that the daughter begins feeling airsick about halfway through the flight due to light turbulence. In order for me to mitigate this, I might climb or descend down to smoother air. If she continues to get sick or it gets worse, I could fly into Traverse City. They have plenty of services there. I'll also have bags on board in case she gets really sick. All right, so my decision would be probably not to fly to Marquette because of icing. Since we don't have anti-air de-icing equipment on the plane, we'd be better off flying into Iron Mountain. Thank you for listening to my scenario. I hope you enjoyed it.